Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
Wonderful song is An Untouchable Relic. That's the title. And the band is The Behaviour. The Behaviour. Fantastic name. And we have with us the person, the artist behind this wonderful music, Baron. How's it going?
Hi there. How are you doing, Antoine? Good to be speaking with you.
Likewise. Excellent. Fantastic to have you. So, tell us a little bit about you. Introduce yourself. Tell us about this wonderful music.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Yeah. I'm Baron in Kilpatrick. And this is a new solo effort that I created a couple of years ago. The Behaviour came about after many years of being primarily the drummer for a variety of different groups. Blacklight Burns with Wes Borland, and at one point Danny Lohner from Nine Inch Nails and A Perfect Circle, and the Esoteric, C-Spin, which was like a shoegaze project out of Los Angeles, and many others. And after doing that for the majority of my career, I had started to write a lot of music on my own that I really felt was going to be best expressed by my own voice and through my own ways of articulating that, and really felt that it needed its own vehicle. And I spent a couple of years stepping away from the music industry to do a lot of evolving in other personal areas of my life. And during that time, a lot of this music came to fruition, and it was time to get it out and share it with the world. And I really am proud of it. It's been a long time coming, and I hope that people enjoy it. It's something that if anybody else can get enjoyment or any sort of influence off of it in any way, shape, or form, then that's fantastic, because it certainly does that for myself. It's therapeutic in its own way, and that's kind of how I've presented the Behaviour. It's a medicine and good music and art for the soul, and I hope that other people can find that in it as well.
That's amazing.
I think so too. I think so too. Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. So you started your journey as a musician, as a drummer. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Wonderful. So, did you learn the other instruments on these recordings? I think I read that you played everything. Is that right?
That is true. Yes. This entire album that will be coming out September 1st, Sin Dance, as well as this single and the one before it, Burning of the Neon Dream. Yeah, all of the instrumentation and lyrics and vocals, everything was written, arranged, and recorded, performed by myself. Actually, let me correct that, because I did have help in the recording aspect. So yeah, all of the material has been written, arranged, and performed by myself.
Wow.
It was a huge, rewarding undertaking, a lot of work, but it is a very true solo effort in every way, every meaning and connotation of saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, the results are tremendous. And you started with drums, and then tell us a little bit how you evolve into the rest of the instruments.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. My career as a drummer started very early on. And actually, I started to play the drums practically as I learned to walk. I got my first drum kit when I was 4 years old and played practically every day, thankfully with the encouragement and support of my parents. I think it helped that my father was also a musician, so it was highly encouraged. And by the time that I was in high school, I actually was hired by my own father to perform and play in his blues and rock band. And that was kind of my beginning of making a living at it in any way, shape, or form. And as I grew older, that just kind of furthered along, and that was my primary instrumentation. But along those lines, concurrently, I learned to play guitar, and piano, and bass, and all of the other instruments as well. I just never showcased that ability in any other group or artists I worked with. So it was something I always utilized more from a writing perspective. And when I did create music, those things I would kind of keep to myself. And yeah, after many years, it was just time that I felt confident enough and sure enough that, I think this can all be utilized and put to good use. And the Behaviour in this album is a good example of me doing that.
It is, absolutely. So, from other very famous drummers have gone into other instruments. They say they have repurposed what they know, the way they play drums, into other instruments. Is that true for you too?
It very much is. It is true, and I kind of answered the other question as well. I never have had any proper lessons. I think I took a couple of weeks of trying to play drums in band class in junior high, but by that time I had already been playing drums for 10 years, and so learning rudiments and paradiddles and things of that nature on a snare drum, I kind of learned what I needed and moved on. And being able to do that as a drummer really did transpose into all other instrumentation. And especially in writing these songs, as a guitar player and a vocalist, it really helps having that aspect down and being competent and sure enough of yourself as the drummer. You hear this a lot for bands, but you're only as good as your drummer is. So if he's not as good, then your band as a total may not reflect very well.
Right.
But thankfully, I've got that aspect down, so everything else just followed suit.
Fantastic. Okay, well, what do you think is the next logical step for this project? Where do you want to take it? What's the next that is coming after the release?
Well, that's a good question. I really want to get this album out to as wide of an audience that I can possibly achieve. I'm still not sure about the touring aspect right now. I've done so much touring over the years, and unfortunately the environment has changed somewhat, especially post-COVID, that the costs involved that a band or artist incurs now is very high. So quite possibly looking at maybe doing some one-off dates. It would be feasible to maybe do some festivals here in the States or overseas as performances are concerned. Definitely want to bring it live in front of an audience at any shape or form. So that will be something I'll be pursuing in the next couple of months, seeing how that can transpire. But I've also got some videos in the works for these songs that I hope to be having out in the next month or two, and do everything I can to push this record. And concurrently, am writing for another to come out, sometime next year.
Wow.
Keep the door moving.
Yeah. Very, very prolific. So when you see this, your project going live, do you see where you'd like to be performing? Like, what instrument will you be taking? How is that looking?
That's a very good question, and I think ideally, in trying to find the right musicians to work with, I'd like to find those that are as well-rounded and competent as possible, so that we can kind of do a trade. Obviously I'll be doing the heavy lifting of all the vocals and singing and playing some guitar, but the vision itself would be nice to just kind of be able to trade off with other musicians and do a rotation around the group, and maybe play drums on one or two songs, play bass on one or two, and guitar on others, or just sing on another. If I can have a well-rounded cast of musicians that I believe in and feel good that they're capable of doing it, kind of everybody share the roles, and just kind of make it an all-around cast, so that I get to do a little bit of everything. But of course, the vocal aspect will be the one constant throughout all of it, no matter what.
Yeah, makes sense. That sounds really interesting. I would like to see a band like that. In this case, like, very competent, maybe rotating sometimes the instruments. That's actually something very interesting to see live. Did you have...
I think so.
Yes. Yes. Is there any particular venue where you would like to play?
Yeah, actually there is. I spend a lot of time in Colorado. In fact, a huge majority of this material was all written while I was living in Colorado, and we have a venue there called Red Rocks, outside of Denver, that is a world-renowned outdoor amphitheater that's carved into the rocks on the side of the mountains overlooking Denver. And that venue has always been near and dear to my heart, and I've seen some very good concerts there. And being able to perform on that stage would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be fulfilling, and I think it would be a really good place to hear this music in particular being played, and hearing it echoing off the sides of those rocks. It's just a majestic, very majestic venue, and that is one in particular that I have always wanted to perform at. And I think at this, with this project, that would just be magnificent.
Well, absolutely,
definitely
sounds
that.
like it. Yeah, Red Rocks, absolutely. Everybody, check this place. I'm definitely going to. It sounds very good. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've heard of it, or you're already aware of it, then you know.
I think you have everything perfectly. You know exactly where you want to go. How do you see yourself, in the next couple years with this particular project or any other? Where would you like to be?
Well, definitely this is a long-term project. This is one that I would like to see, and I will be putting everything into to give it as much longevity as possible and to sustain it for many years and many albums. I've already got a wealth of material written for not just one, but maybe a couple other records that I could record right now easily. So there's no shortage of material. In fact, the songs for this album and this song, Untouchable Relic, as well as Burning of the Neon Dream, the other single, are just the tip of the iceberg. These songs were hand selected for this album to kind of showcase a good wide range, an eclectic, diverse showcase of hopefully the versatility of what this project can achieve, attain, and I hope the listener can get that as well. So it would be very nice here in a couple of years to have several albums under the belt that continue to expand upon that and take it even to a bigger, wider audience than I could have ever hoped for, and continue being able to make a living at it. That's definitely a difficult thing for independent musicians these days. It's much easier to put out your own music. Resources are there now for independent artists unlike ever before, and it just continues to become more feasible. However, that being said, the making a good living at it aspect is something that I don't know how many artists can honestly say that it's all that they do. And I've had that at certain points of my career, but that would be something that I would hope this can give a reward to, give it back and be able to do that. And perhaps even help other artists at a later point. Once this has gotten going a little bit more, I can be there for other artists to look to for a resource as well, and just continue to grow that community.
Yeah, I love that perspective or intention of pay forward type of approach for others. And how do you see that you could help, if you could help other musicians getting started?
Well, I know from my own experience, there's so much that one learns in this industry. And even for me doing it for over 2 decades, there's always something new to learn and to figure out and to kind of tackle and get your hands on for a variety of perspectives that can go into the recording aspect with new technology, as well as the business aspect. There's so many things that, even I myself, in the last several months, I've learned so much more than I knew a year ago, let alone 5 years ago. So any of that experience and knowledge that I could help pass on to other artists, I would love to be able to do that, because I know that when you're starting out, it can be very daunting and overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And, being able to help share that, and help encourage newer artists. That's something I've always done, throughout my entire career. One of my intangible measures of success was, how well could you encourage and positively influence other people who wanted to do this, and, maybe inspire them to want to do it themselves and do it in a very healthy and positive manner. So that's something I would love to do, and that can be expanded into other areas as well. There's mental health aspects that this is really advantageous for, and helping people in therapeutic settings. That's always something that I consider.
Oh, so elaborate a little bit more on that, please, if you could.
Sure, yeah. You know, there is a thing called music therapy that has become more popular over, I'd say, the last decade for sure. And people who are musically talented or have a good understanding of music can go into therapeutic sessions and help others who may be dealing with anxiety or depression and give them an escape, kind of teach them ways of being creative that helps them deal with like these types of mental issues. And, you know, also kind of as a fundamental level, you're helping people understand that they're not alone. You know, no one is alone, and there's always help. There's always resources out there. And music is, you know, of course, considered a universal language. So that aspect being something that can reach people and help them through whatever type of, you know, issues they may be dealing with, such as anxiety or depression, just as an example. You know, music is a very, very powerful way of helping people become healthier and dealing with these things. And, you know, as well as just being able to share information. You know, there's so many resources out there that I know a lot of artists now kind of help promote and get behind, to just let people know, hey, you know, you can reach out to this organization or, you know, this charitable group of people, and they're there for you. They'll give you any help that you need. And that's something I definitely like to align myself with too. You know, and it kind of goes hand in hand with one of the messages of the Behaviour as a whole, which is, you know, this is a medicine for your melancholy. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. This is a medicine for your melancholy, a remedy for repressed emotions. You know, it's here to help you and hopefully inspire and encourage you to do better and in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I think all art has that capability as well. The music, especially, it can be very personal, very personal.
That's true. That's true. Very, very true. Very, very true. Everything you're saying. Seems like we only look at the power behind music from surface, right? But there's a lot behind. So
Absolutely.
I think there's plenty, behind the surface if we look at it in depth. I like it. I like it a lot. Definitely. I love that phrase that you wrote. It just said, medicine for melancholy and remedy for repressed feelings. Is that what you said?
Repressed emotions and or feelings. Yeah. You know, there's you know, melodies and harmonies and words, lyrics, and every aspect of music. It can resonate differently with each person, but it's also very emotional, and it's, you know, music is one of those things that I myself personally, I don't know how I could live without it. It's been a constant source of support my entire life.
Absolutely. Love it. Okay, well, super insightful, fantastic, deep conversation here with Baron from The Behaviour. And you know, like, you have a bunch of songs coming, right? You already released 2 of them. This is the second one. Is that true?
That is very true, yes. Burning of the Neon Dream was our first single, came out on August 4th. this song, An Untouchable Relic, August 25th, and the full album will be out on September 1st, called A Sin Dance, which will feature these songs and 5 others as well.
Wonderful. Looking forward to that. A great pleasure, honestly. Very, very, very insightful. And I always like to end asking similar question, which is, what would you say to the person you were when you just got started?
Let me ask you to repeat that. What would I say to a person? What?
Yeah, I'll say it again. What would you say to the person you were when you just got started?
Oh my goodness! I would tell him to, just like I said, remain humble, keep your humility, keep your mind clear. Try to not cloud your judgment or your perspective, whether that be by your actions or decisions or the people around you, and keep an open mind and keep learning. Just keep learning. You've got one hell of a road in front of you, so keep your head up and keep it clear.
I love it. Excellent advice. Of course, I didn't expect any less from you. All right. Thank you again. Thank you very much. This was The Behaviour, and we are listening to, actually, we're going to enjoy a little bit more of An Untouchable Relic. Thank you again.
Thank you, Antoine. Thank you.
To the next one.
Typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh. Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.